Hi, everybody. I'm Stacy.
And I'm her daughter, Mickey.
And welcome to KiddieNomics. Oh my gosh, everybody, we are so excited to be back on KiddieNomics. We missed you guys. Did you miss us? Because we missed you guys so much. I know I was off or we were off for a couple of, 2 months and I think 2 weeks or a week. Yeah. So we took
2 weeks.
No, 2 months and 2 weeks. Yeah. It's like two and a half months around there for the holiday season, but we are so excited to be back and starting the new year off with Miss April. We just love her on KiddieNomics. But before we get into Miss April, I am going to share my screen as usual and get into our presentation. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. All right. So welcome to KiddieNomics. So welcome to all of the new kids. If this is your first time on KiddieNomics, welcome. We are excited for you guys to be here. If you guys are, and if you are new, please write in the chat box. Hi, Joshua, you're back. Hi, Timmy, you're back. Now you'll have to deal with me again, of course. Hi, Kelsey, you're back. I'm so happy you guys are all here. We missed you guys. Okay, so if you are new, if this is your first time on KiddieNomics, just put in the chat box. This is your first time. The kiddies will welcome you in the chat box, which is awesome. And of course, welcome back to all of our returning kiddies that are here every week with us. We are uber excited that you guys are all logging in and kicking off the month of February with us, right? First Friday in February, which also happens to be my birthday. So it is my birthday today. Happy birthday to me. I'm excited to kick off KiddieNomics with you guys on my birthday, and so tell me, how was your holidays? We had fun. We told you, I told you last year, right, that I had a new little one. So he's about 3 months old now. So he kind of kept me busy in that 2.5 months that we were on holidays for. So that's why I missed you guys for that long period. I'm sorry. I was dealing with the new little one. And I also want to apologize for last week for anybody that did log on last week. I was supposed to cancel last week and I completely slipped my mind. So I'm sorry if anybody was waiting on the line last week to try and get into KiddieNomics. My apologies, but we are back this week. All right, that's all the announcements. Let's get into KiddieNomics and then I'll do roll call. All right, so what's KiddieNomics? KiddieNomics is here to help kids ages 8+ to develop a healthy relationship towards financial literacy.
No, I want to read it.
Okay, so read this part.
Helping to start off kids on the right path to have a successful financial future.
Yay! So that's what we want for you. That's what we want for you. That's what she wants for me. We want everybody, right, to have a successful financial future. So let's get back into our housekeeping items, right? So please remember, we cannot see or hear any of the kids. Hi, Akira. We can't see. Hi, Marley. This is your first time. Welcome. Hey, that's awesome. Oh, thank you. Congratulations to me. If this is your first time, please remember that we cannot see or hear you. So please remember everything in the chat box. You want to keep you guys safe and healthy in our KiddieNomics community. So we never want to see anything private about you, right? So never, I don't want to ever see any email addresses, phone numbers, your birthdays. I do ask for birthdays, like if today's your birthday or if your birthday's coming up, which I will ask in a minute. If you missed any birthdays, but I don't want to actually see your ages or anything like that, right? Because we want to keep you guys safe in our little KiddieNomics community. Also, please remember to be respectful of everybody's comments, okay? and just be nice, right? We want everybody to be nice and have fun in KiddieNomics because that's our goal, to learn something worthwhile and to have fun while doing it, okay? All right, so before we get into Miss April, let's do roll call. So in the chat box, please tell me where you're joining from today. So which country you're joining from. If you are new, tell me which country you guys are all joining from today. And I'm gonna see if we have any new ones. Canada, Anaya says Canada, Ontario, Joshua, out of this world. Then which world are you in? If you're out of this one, then you got to pick one. Is it Mars? Is it Jupiter? Layla, Canada. Akira, Canada. Timmy, Universe, Earth, North America, Canada, Ontario, Burlington. That goes the gambit. I got it. Kelsey says the sun. Ooh, you be burning. It's really hot there. Marley, Canada. Let me see. I'm Danny from Canada. Hi, Danny, and welcome. If this is your first time on KiddieNomics, welcome to KiddieNomics. Okay, and Dion, Canada. Hi, Layla, welcome. All right, thank you for roll call. Oh, Layla, you said Jupiter, Mars, Venus. You're on all three? That is awesome. I wonder how you do that. Riel, what did you say? Canada. And oh no, Kelsey, you sprained your foot. I'm so sorry. That sucks. Hopefully you feel better soon. Let me just see. Did I miss anybody else? I don't think so. All right. Thank you for my happy birthday wishes. I'm happy to spend it with you guys. Oh my gosh, I miss Mickey. I miss her every week. She sits beside me. All right, Mix, where are you from?
My life.
You're from your life?
Yeah.
All right, cool. It's a good life to have, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's a good life. Yes, the Olympics starts today. So hopefully you guys get to see some of the competitions, which is awesome. All right, and
all of them.
You watch some of them?
No, all of them.
Okay. The Olympics goes on for a long time.
I watched every single one.
Okay. All right, so let's see. While we did roll call, I also want to say any shout out, birthday shout outs if I missed any in the last couple of months. So if your birthday was in the last 2 months and a half since our last KiddieNomics webinar, which was in November, please let me know and I will want to say happy birthday to you. So if your birthday was in November, December, January, let me know. Let me know in the chat box.
I have a question.
Let me know. Hold on. I'm just checking birthdays. Let me know in the chat box. No. Oh, yours is in March. Okay. Did I miss any? I think we said happy birthday to you in August, Timmy. If I missed it, I'm sorry. Happy birthday. My birthday is December 3rd. Oh, Akira, Mr. Birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hopefully you had a wonderful day.
Mine was the 5th.
Okay, Nikki. Stop being silly today. Happy birthday. Oh, who was December 20th? Who was that? Fortune, happy birthday. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so now let's get into our speaker. So Miss April is returning to us on KiddieNomics. We are super excited that she's back. I'll give you a little tidbit about Miss April. Miss April helped kick off KiddieNomics when we started now, 2 years ago. And with her, she has the most watched video on KiddieNomics. And if anybody can tell me what is the most watched video on KiddieNomics. By the way, if you're new, we have a KiddieNomics YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel has all of our KiddieNomics webinars. So every KiddieNomics webinar is there, and Miss April's webinar is there. And if you can tell me what is the most watched YouTube video that we have, how many views, and what is the name of the video in the chat box. Oops. Why? Oh gosh, April, I am so sorry. I have the wrong name up here. That was from the last time we did KiddieNomics. That is so sad. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna read out Miss April's bio. Let me just see if any of the kids got it in the chat box first, though. Assets versus liabilities. Yay, Elias! 2K. That is so awesome. That's right. Miss April has the highest viewed video for KiddieNomics, and it's 2,000 views. We are super excited. We love the assets versus liabilities video. And if you haven't seen that video, I highly suggest watching it. It's a great video to start off your KiddieNomics journey. So April is a graduate of the University of Toronto. April has worked in the accounting field for over 18 years. She holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree with a specialist in management and economics. As a finance professional, she has advised clients across various industries on the implementation of accounting systems and processes, enabling them to be more effectively manage their operations and personal finances. Her range of services include consultation in the business startup phase, ongoing financial reporting and management, payroll administration, sales tax reporting, personal and corporate tax return preparation, and among her greatest joys is seeing her clients effectively use their financial information to make more informed and smart choices. April is also a mom of the most handsome little one. He's so cute. A mom and a strong advocate for early financial literacy. Let's give a big KiddieNomics round of applause to Miss April. Hi, Miss April. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited. I'm a little giddy to be back. I feel like I haven't seen the KiddieNomics community in so long. So I'm super duper excited to be here. And Miss April loves to talk about money. So we are definitely going to be getting into one of my favorite topics today. All right. So I hope everybody brought their 3 Ps. What are those? Your pen or your pencil, a piece of paper, and your participation, because I want to know that you are participating. So when I'm going to ask a few questions, and you can pop answers in the chat if you have some ideas or answers to the questions that I might have, okay? So your 3 Ps, your pencil, your paper, your participation. Agreed? Agreed. All right. So,
okay, so Miss April, sorry, before you start, hi kids, in the chat is there to ask and answer any questions. So the kids have to talk in the chat, okay? All right, go ahead, Miss April.
Awesome. All right, so why is money my favorite topic? And I say this all the time. It's my favorite topic because money gives us power to make choices and gives us power to do things. So it's our responsibility to always use our money responsibly. And so with KiddieNomics, we teach you all the good skills and information that you'll need so that you make good money decisions that as we grow older, and so you can be empowered about how to use your money. All right. So we're going to jump right into today's topic, which is called my annual money review. So does anyone know what a New Year's resolution is? Do any of you make New Year's resolutions?
Oh, that's a good question.
A lot of people, maybe your parents make resolutions. If there's anyone who's made a resolution in this group, maybe you could tell me what some of those resolutions may be. To eat healthy. Yes, a lot of people make resolutions to eat healthy, sometimes to exercise. Sometimes, to do good in school. That's a great one. I love that. To spend more time with my family, to stop eating candy and sugar. I have a sweet tooth too. Promise to do something differently in the new year. I like that one. I like to play with my dog more, to diet. Okay. Healthy diet. Not just diet, but to eat healthy foods, right? All right. Awesome.
Oh, so, Mickey has one, Miss April.
Oh, Mickey, you have one too? What's your resolution?
To get good grades.
To get good grades. I like that. Yes. I like that. Awesome. Right. So a lot of people use the new year to set resolutions or to set goals. One of the things that I use the new year to do is to do what I call an annual money review. So what does that mean? That means that there are 4 things that I do at the end of every year. And I'm going to share those things with you because as you grow, these are some practices that I think would be good for you to do each and every year. And it will help you in managing your money. So what do you think some of those practices are that I do every year? Any ideas? All right, so I'll tell you the first one.
Timmy says save.
Save. Oh, that's
Not
good.
invest, says Timmy. Timmy says save. Help people, says Anaya. Learn, says Mickey. Mickey, and that's a good one, Mix. Budgeting, says Natalie. Good. Practicing math.
Yeah, math is important to money. It's very, I like it.
Very much is. Dancing, says Akira. They love dancing.
Awesome.
Yeah, soccer practice. I think that's for you.
I like that one. Use less money with groceries.
I love, Layla, I love your answer. Use less money with groceries, although the price of food is going up. So
I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what my 4 things are that I do at the end of every year or at the beginning of the next year, right? So the first one, and write down on your paper as I'm writing, is to check my credit. Right? And I will go through what each and every one of these things are in a little bit, but I'm just letting you know what we're going to cover today. So my first money habit at the end of every year when I do my money review is to check my credit report. All right, I'll even write report right here. And we'll get into what that is for those of you who may not know. Check my credit report. That's the first thing. The second thing that I do every year is I review last year. I want to know how I did, so I review last year. So you could write that on your paper. Review prior year. All right, so we have 2 things so far. Make sure you pay your mortgage payments. Yes, Layla, that's a very good point. I love it. The KiddieNomics crew here is very informed. I love it.
Aren't they? I think what Joshua says, my mom says I'm not here just to look cute. You need to learn.
Your mom's a smart lady.
Yes.
All right. So that's the second thing that I do every year. I review the prior year. The third thing that I do at the end of each year is I calculate my net worth. And I know that might sound like I'm speaking fancy language. I promise you, I will explain it all later. So the third thing, calculate net worth. And who wants to take a guess at what the 4th thing is?
Who wants to guess what's the 4th thing that Miss April does?
Yes, that's a good one. And it's actually part of number 4. So I think Mickey, you have an idea?
Count.
Count what?
Count?
Wait. Ask me, never mind. Sorry.
She says never mind.
Counting's a part of it.
Yes.
It's all part of a big picture where I set goals for the upcoming year, right? So we set new goals, right? So the 4 things that I do each year at the end of every year, the first one is I check my credit report. The second one is I review the previous year to see how I did. The third thing that I do is I calculate my net worth. And the 4th thing that I do is I set my new goals for the upcoming year. All right. So I'm going to get into what each one of these things are just a little bit more.
Nicole, so, your goal, it says pay your debt. That's what she's saying. Maybe one of your goals were to pay your debt. Which is a good one. Many people have that.
Exactly. One of my goals, I'm achieving them, is to have a MacBook. I think I saw that a while ago. Oh, awesome. Those are some great goals. Yeah. All right. So this is a perfect workshop for you then. All right. So checking your credit report. Does anyone know what a credit score is? I know some of you are experienced with KiddieNomics, so you may have done the credit workshop. What's your credit score? Mickey?
What is your credit score? Some of the kids say yes online. Mickey, go ahead.
A credit score is when you can use that to be able to buy stuff like houses, pay rent, and bills and stuff. And if you have a bad credit score, then you cannot do those things.
Oh, that's good.
I love this answer. Oh my gosh, is this person in university? The credit score is a numerical. Read that one for me, Stacy.
Credit score is a numerical expression based on a level
You got that from
analysis
Google.
yes, of a person's credit files to represent the credit worthiness of an individual. A credit score is primarily based on a credit report, information typically sourced from credit bureaus.
Okay. I love when someone is resourceful and can research information, and that is 100% correct. But I will put it in simpler language. A credit score is a measure of your trustworthiness. So can a bank trust you to pay back money that you've borrowed from them? So what your credit score tells persons or banks or anyone who's interested in lending you money is how trustworthy you are in repaying that money. All right, so what is a credit score? It's a measure.
Are you writing this down?
Yeah, write it down.
It's a measure of how trustworthy.
I do love the KiddieNomics community. Is very resourceful to go check what everything means, but sometimes try to think of it before you check Google, okay? Because a lot of these topics have been covered on KiddieNomics, so you may just know it.
Exactly.
Along with being resourceful. I love
exactly. So a credit score is a measure of how trustworthy you are. So how do you check your credit score? And for some of you, this may be a refresher because I know that KiddieNomics has presented on credit before, so I won't spend too much time here. Your credit score in Canada could be anywhere from 300 to 900. I think in America, it's 300 to 850. But in Canada, where we are, the range is from 300 to 900. So if your credit score is around 300, 400, then it could use a little work. If you're up at 900, that means that you've been really responsible, you have paid all your bills on time, and your credit worthiness or your trustworthiness is really good in the eyes of the bank, right? So just so you understand, a credit score could be anywhere from 300 to 900 in Canada. So you want to try as best as possible to have your credit score be as close to 900 as possible, and then the world is yours. Pretty much, the world is yours. So how do you check your credit score? There are two companies, and this you can Google. There are two main companies in Canada that allows you to check your credit score. One is called TransUnion. And does anyone know what the other one is?
let me just
The other one starts with an E. It's called Equifax, right?
Equifax.
So there's TransUnion and there is Equifax.
Miss April, sorry, can we just ask, what is the fourth habit again?
Oh, so the fourth habit was to set new money goals or set new goals for the upcoming year.
So Kira, did you get that? Set new goals for the year.
Yes. So our first goal, I'll just review them for everyone just in case there's anyone else who missed it. So the first goal is to check your credit. The second goal is to review your previous year's money goals and whether or not you met them. The third is to calculate your net worth. And the fourth is to set new goals for the upcoming year. All right. Awesome. Perfect question. And I love it. If you miss anything or if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. All right. So what is it?
Sorry,
Sure.
we have a few more questions in the chat. Okay, so I think Kelsey has a question. What is a credit score? So I think Ms. April has reviewed what is a credit score. Just let me know, Kelsey, if you understood it. If not, then we can review it again. Okay. Kai, I think you had a question, but you didn't put it in the chat, so let me know. Elias, what if you don't use credit cards and you don't really use loans from the bank? Would that affect your credit score?
That's such an excellent question, Elias. It actually, having no credit sometimes is even worse than having bad credit. So it's not a good thing if you don't use credit cards. The important thing is to learn how to use them responsibly so that you don't owe money on them. So if you don't use them and you don't have any credit, if you need to do something, and credit isn't just used to borrow money. Sometimes, let's say you want to go away, if you want to go to Niagara Falls for the weekend to hang out and you want to stay at a hotel, the hotel oftentimes asks for a credit card. So even if you're paying cash, not having access to a credit card can be a problem. Sometimes you might want to rent an apartment. Some landlords won't have tenants that can't pass a credit check. So I understand some people may not want to borrow money, but the point is not to avoid credit, it's to learn how to use credit so that you can get ahead in life, because avoiding it is actually sometimes just as bad as having poor credit. So that was an excellent question.
Awesome.
I love that.
Melanie has another question. Can you get higher than a 900 on your credit score?
How do you get a 900? Ooh,
can you get higher than a 900?
Can you get high? No, so the highest you can get is 900, right? So some things that you have to do is to pay your bills on time. Not have, let's say you have a limit of $1,000 on your credit card. You have to have a low balance on your card. You can't use up all $1,000, or else that's going to show that you're not paying your credit card down, right? Other things, you can't be applying for credit all the time, because the more people ask questions to see if you can qualify, then it looks like you really need this money. So then it makes it seem like you may not be able to pay it back. Okay, so those are just some ways that you could try and get to implement so that you could have as high a score as possible. But the most important is to pay your bills on time. All right.
Thank you. Question. What is the best age to start credit? This is turning into a credit class. So this is the last question, and then Miss April is going to have to move on, okay?
Okay, there's such great questions. Oh my gosh, but I understand. We'll move on. Okay, so what is the best age? I would say if your parents would allow you to get, when you're a teenager, a responsible older teenager, to get a card of your own that may be attached to their account, then it will start you in the habit of using your card responsibly, especially if you have a job. I'll tell you a secret though. So, when you finish high school and you go off to university, I promise you, if we're back to in-person learning, there will be tons of credit card companies awaiting your arrival at college and university. I promise you. And that's when you can actually start to practice all the things that you learned in KiddieNomics about only putting on your credit card what you have the money to pay for, right? So this is why we're starting this early, so that when you get to that stage where these credit card companies come looking for you, you are ready with all the information about how to use this credit card appropriately. All right?
Perfect.
Awesome.
Natalie, do you understand now what credit is? If you don't, let me know in the chat box, and then we can maybe have Miss April circle back to it, okay?
Awesome.
Okay, let me see. Let me just see if there's any more questions. You guys are on fire today. I love all the questions. KiddieNomics kids always ask the most insightful questions. Just love it. Okay.
All right, and you know what? And remember that if you really, really want an in-depth discussion, or if you want to learn more about credit, that the KiddieNomics YouTube video on credit would give you a lot more information that I'm covering in this little session.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so let's recap. So what's a credit score? It's a measure of how trustworthy you are. And there are two companies that give credit reports in Canada. One's called TransUnion. The other one is called Equifax. And even some banks, depending on who your bank is, some banks actually offer a free credit report for their customers. So for example, no plug, but I bank with the Bank of Nova Scotia, and it's right there. I could pull it up anytime that I want, right? So before you go checking TransUnion and Equifax, you could even check with your bank to see if maybe they offer a free credit report just because you are a customer of theirs. All right, awesome. So why is it important for you to check your credit each year? Like, why does Miss April check her credit every December? Yes, Mickey?
To make sure that you're on track and that nothing bad is like happening to your credit score.
Exactly. You want to make sure that your credit report doesn't have anything weird on it. You want to see what your credit is. That way, if there's room to improve your credit, you have the information to start to make changes to your credit, right? And why it's really important is because credit affects our ability to access things. It affects our ability to buy things. It affects our ability to rent things. So it's really important that you always have an idea of what your credit score is. Can you imagine you get older, you're looking for an apartment to rent, and you go to rent an apartment, and then the potential landlord checks your credit and your credit sucks and you didn't know? Then you have nowhere to live. So it's really important that you are always aware of what your credit score is. All right. So why is it important? Our credit affects our ability to buy or rent things. And if there is anyone like me who loves to travel, loves to go on vacation, that's hard to do without a credit card. So you always want to know what your credit score is. All right. So that's the first thing we do. Every December or early January every year, we check our credit. Just like we go to the doctor for a checkup every year, at least once a year, and you can do it more frequently than once a year, but at the very least, at the end of every year, check your credit report so that you know what your score is. All right. So I'm just going to switch this up so that we can move on to our next couple of things. All right. So I said that the first thing I do is I check my credit report, right? The second thing that I do every year, the second thing that I do is I review last year.
Sorry, Miss April. I think a couple of kids are saying they can't see your
writing
clearly. Could you
let me change the color of the marker? The blue one's probably a little brighter. Okay.
Let me see. I can see it, but
I'll change the marker and see if that makes a little difference.
Actually, to me, it's better now. But if you guys can let me know in the chat if you guys can see it more clearly. If you're saying it's a little bit blurry.
Maybe if I bring us a little closer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, can everybody see it now? Micah says yes. Hey, Micah. Happy New Year. It's blurry, but I can see. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I think for the most part, they can see.
All right. So let's move on to review the previous year. So what are some of the things that we may review from the previous year? Let's say we made a plan to save more money. Yes, money spent. That's a good one, Elias. So we can check and see how much money did we spend last year. We can check and see, did we save as much money as we planned to? Let's say you wanted to start investing. You can look back and say, did I actually start investing? So there are lots of things that we can go back and see how did we do? Did you set a budget last year? Is anybody familiar with budgeting? So perhaps if you budgeted, you could see, okay, did I spend in line with my budget, or did I spend more than my budget? Do I owe anyone any money? Right? So these are all things that you can do. You can look back to your previous year to see whether or not you met your goals from the previous year, right? So here are some of.
1 second, sorry, one of the kids are still saying that they can't see. Layla, can you just let me know, or maybe if you log out and log back in, how blurry is your screen? If it's blurry, maybe try logging out and logging back in. Can everybody else see? Because I can see, so I can only see you. What do you mean? Yeah, Kai, your friend can join, just send them the link. You can only see me. What does that mean? Can you not see Miss April and her screen? Okay. All right, Layla's saying that she can see better, so that's fine. Timmy is saying that they can sort of see.
Okay.
I can see Miss April.
His real name is Abraham.
Oh,
okay.
hi, Abraham, sorry. Okay.
All righty, no worries. All right, so some of the things that we're going to review from last year. How much did I save? Right? How much did I save? How much did I spend?
That's a really important one.
Right? How much did you spend? Did you buy lots of candy? Did you buy lots of video games? Did you invest? Right? So you always look back and see, what did I plan to do, and how did what actually happened compare to what I planned to do? I see someone say that they're an investor. I love it. Awesome. Right? So you always go back. If you set a budget, you compare your budget with your actuals. Compare your budget versus actuals. Right? So you always go back and check, because if you don't know how you did, then you don't know what you need to change moving forward. Right? So that's one of the most important things you can do, is to always go back and check how you did in the previous year, so that you could plan for item number 4, which we'll get to in a little bit. So why is it important for us to review the previous year? Because it helps us to set new goals, right? The reason why we review, so that it helps us to set new goals. And so that way, if you know you didn't do so hot in one area, if you spent too much money, then maybe this year is the year when you have to adjust some of your behavior. So if you go to the corner store every day after school and buy candy, maybe this year you're not going to go every day after school. Maybe you're only going to go on Fridays because you spent way too much money last year, right? So it's always important to go back and check. All right, so the next thing that I do, so we've covered point number 1, we check our credit. We then covered point number 2, which is to review the previous year. The third thing that we do every year, or that I do every year, that I'm going to encourage you to do, is to calculate your net worth. And what does net worth mean? Anyone who watched that assets and liabilities video would know what net worth means, right? So if you don't know and you really want to know, then you can get an in-depth lesson on assets, liabilities, and net worth in that video. But I'll go over it very quickly here. All right, so to calculate your net worth, you're going to take all of your assets and you're going to subtract all of your liabilities, and that's what your net worth is. So net worth is assets minus liabilities. And that equals net worth. Now, I know I used some fancy language there. What are assets? What are liabilities? So I use two magic words to figure this out. Assets are things that you own. Liabilities represent money that you owe. So let's say you have a computer, or I hear someone say that they are an investor. So that person may have some stocks. Maybe they bought some Roblox stocks. Maybe they bought some Apple stocks. Not sure what you're invested in, but those investments, those would be considered your assets. So liabilities now, the other O word is money that you owe. So let's say you spent a little bit too much money last year and you borrowed money from your brother. So now you owe your brother $100. That $100 is considered a liability. So it's money that you owe. All right, so if we go back, assets, that I'm gonna put in brackets, what you own. And liabilities is what you owe. So at the end of every year, we're going to calculate all of our assets, and we're going to calculate all of our liabilities, and we're going to subtract from our assets our liabilities, and that gives us our net worth. All right, so I know it can be a little tricky of a concept, but I think we can get it together. So let's do an example.
Sorry, Miss April, the kids couldn't see the bottom of what you were writing, and they take notes in our class, in our webinars. So I
love that they actually take notes. So
net
worth, it equals assets minus liabilities equals net worth, right? So it's what you own minus what you owe equals your net worth. And we're going to go through an example on this next page, so you'll get an even better understanding of it. All right.
Perfect.
All right, perfect. So,
okay, sorry. So some of the kids are saying they haven't finished writing. Just so you know, this webinar and all the webinars are recorded.
And
so
on YouTube.
So we posted on YouTube. It'll be posted tonight, so you can always watch it back to then take down all the notes again, okay? Just in case if we're going a little bit too fast to write down everything, okay? Because I don't want anybody to miss any of the information. All right.
I love that they're so attentive though. Like they actually take notes.
They do. they do. And then they have family discussions about what they've learned in the KiddieNomics webinars. So,
that's so awesome.
Isn't it?
So awesome.
Grace, are you understanding? If you don't understand something, please put in the chat box and then I can have Miss April review it, okay?
All right, so let's do an example. So someone tell me some assets that you may own. I know a few people who own Roblox shares because those came out last year.
Right? What's an asset?
They're on sale right now, by the way. Anybody who wants more. All right, so let's say stocks. You got some birthday money and you bought your first set of stocks and you got $200 in birthday money and you bought yourself some stocks. So you have $200 in assets. What else could be an asset?
What else can be an asset?
What else?
A TV.
A TV? It's an asset, but what I want you to think about are assets that will be around for a long time to come and that appreciate. They gain more value the longer we keep them. What about if you had a savings account? Do you have a piggy bank at home that maybe you have some money in every time you get some change, a tunya loony, you drop it in there? So that would be considered an asset. A house would be considered an asset, a piggy bank. All right, so who has Bitcoin?
Joshua says gold, which is good. Melanie says house.
Someone said Bitcoin.
Yes, Bitcoin.
That's an asset.
That's an asset. 24-karat gold. Silver says Melanie. Timmy says Bitcoin, which we do have a Bitcoin webinar on KiddieNomics. So if you guys
awesome. All right, so let's say in our piggy bank, we have $50. So in total, we have $250 in assets,
Wait, what? I'm confused.
right?
200 in stocks and $50 in the
You add
piggy
that,
bank.
that's 200.
So 200 in stocks, $50 in a piggy bank. So right now we have $250 in assets. Now, what about if, like I said, you spent too much money last year, so now you owe your brother $50.
$200 left.
You have $200 left. So guess what does that $200 represent?
200 assets?
The $200 would be your net worth, right? So you owe $50 to your brother. You owe your brother that. So now you're gonna minus from your $250, that $50, and you were left with $200. And that is your net worth. All right. So it's a good idea. Maybe you don't have lots of assets now that you're younger, but as you get older, you will have more assets because you're learning about money. So maybe eventually you'll buy a home, or maybe you'll invest more. And as you invest, as you increase your savings, you'll have more assets. And why is this important? Net worth is important because sometimes net worth affects our ability to get things or get loans for things. So let's say you want to start a business at some point in the future. One of the things that the bank looks at when you're applying for financing, and I know a lot of people don't like to borrow money, but sometimes when we want to start a business, we have to borrow money because sometimes our money alone isn't enough to start this business. In order to borrow money, one of the things that the bank looks at is your net worth. So the stronger or the higher your net worth is, the more likely it is that a bank or some other person who will invest in a company, the more likely it is that they will give you money. Even when you're buying a home, sometimes they want to see that your net worth is already high. So you have some investments, you have some savings in the bank, you have other assets that increase your net worth. So push come to shove, they have money that they could get back from you in case anything goes wrong, right? So net worth is important because it affects your ability to access resources in the future. All right. So why is it important for you to know? It's the same reason why we want to know what our credit is. You always want to know what your position is when you are going out into the world and you're conducting business or you're trying to do anything. You don't ever want anyone to surprise you and say, nah, your net worth isn't good enough or your credit isn't good enough. You should already know when you're going into any situation what your credit is, what your net worth is. Don't let anyone, and if anyone says to you, oh, but your net worth isn't that great, you can say, no, stick a pin. But I have these assets over here. Did you count those? Right? Because you already know how to calculate your net worth. All right. So why is our net worth important? It's important because it affects our ability to qualify for things, right? So net worth affects our ability to qualify. And I'm going to even be more specific and say to qualify for loans, or it's not just loans, but that's when it becomes most important. So I'll say loans for now, but there are other things that net worth also apply for, right? It affects your ability to qualify for loans or other sources of financing. And by financing, it means getting money from other places, whether you're building a business or buying a home. Your net worth is going to be important to persons or to companies that you may be trying to get money from. So it should always be a goal of yours to increase your net worth. So that's one of the things that I do for myself is at the end of every year, I look and I see, did my net worth increase from last year to this year? If it didn't increase, I did something wrong, right? So as you get older, every year you should just be adding to your net worth a little bit or a lot each year. All right, so that's one goal that you should always put on your list of things to do. And it's not just because you're young doesn't mean that it's not something that you can work towards as you get older. All right, and so my fourth thing that I do for the year, which is the exciting part, because you get to plan, you get to dream, you get to think of all the things that you want to do, and that is to set new goals. All right, so what are some of our 2022 goals? I know what some of mine are.
Let's ask the kids. What are some of your goals for 2022, everybody?
To
Mickey,
buy a MacBook. Nice, I like that.
And to save up my money and also to
so Mickey said to get good grades and save up her money. Some of the
Mhm.
kids said learn math. Who said learn math?
Learn math, nice.
Learn math, Kelsey.
So, okay, I'll be
Natalie
more
says get a
specific.
phone. Timmy says.
What are some of your money goals? Let me be more specific. What are some of your money goals? Maybe you don't know much about and save more, okay? So let's say save more. What are some other goals that you may have? To invest more, okay?
I like this one. Get more money.
Me too. Get more money.
Nicole said to invest.
Get more money. But you know what I want you to do as well when you're setting new goals is don't just say make more money or don't just say save more money. I want you to be specific with your goals because when you're specific, that means, but I like that, budget $10 every day. That is specific because when you make it specific, then it's easy for you to say whether you did it or you didn't do it. If you just say do more, do less, then it's harder for you to assess whether or not you're actually meeting the goal. So when you set your goals, you have to think, is this realistic? Can I do this? Can I live on $10 a day? As a grown-up, if you take the TTC, that might be hard. It's $3 each way. So that leaves you $3 one way, $3 the other, then $4 for food. Right? So you have to think, is it realistic, the goal that you're setting? And if it is realistic, how can you meet these goals? What do you have to do? So let's say you want to save more. Where are you getting the money from? Are you going to negotiate a bigger allowance from mom and dad? And they're probably cringing in the background hearing me say that. But are you going to negotiate a bigger allowance? Are you going to start a little business? It's snowing outside. Maybe you could start a little snow shoveling business and make some money from your neighbors, right? So when you set your money goals, you could always make a plan for how you're going to attain your goals. In your money goals is where you would also set your budget, because once you know what your goals are, then you tailor your budget to meet those goals so that a year from now, when we are looking back and looking at this year as a review, you can then say, oh, I met this goal. I met that goal too, right? So we always have to set new goals, and it's best that you do it right at the beginning of the year. So invest more. What does that mean if you don't know anything about investing now? That means you have to go on KiddieNomics and look at the investing videos or talk to people who know about investing and can get you started. That means maybe mom or dad might not even know anything about these things, but you might say, Mom, Dad, can you figure out how we can start investing? I'm hearing about these things, right? So it's not just about writing your goals on paper and doing nothing about them. It's writing them and being specific. Sometimes when you know what your goals are, you can even speak to your family members about what your goals are. So if you know that you want to start investing or you want to save more, and your birthday's coming up, maybe you say to your family members, no, I don't want XYZ video game. No, I don't want a new pair of Jordans. Can you just give me some money because I'm trying to start investing? It would help you to meet your goals, right? So always know what your goals are. So that way you can choose and you can have conversations. You could choose different actions. If your friends are saying, let's go to the store and buy X, you could say, no. I only have $10 to spend this week and I already spent it. So bye-bye. I'll see you next week, right? So it's always important to set those goals, and that way you know how to make those goals happen. All right. And why is setting the goals important? Because it allows you to make your plan. And the plan is the most important part. Without a plan, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to be all over the place, blowing in the wind. But when you make a plan, then that will allow you to meet your goals. So just to recap what Miss April's 4 things that I do in my money review every year. Firstly, I check my credit. Secondly, I review last year. The next thing I do is I calculate my net worth. And the last thing that I do is I set my money goals for the upcoming year. All right, so remember, if you want any tips on how to do that, there's the budgeting video on KiddieNomics YouTube channel. There's a credit video on KiddieNomics YouTube channel. There are assets and liabilities so that you can figure out how to calculate your net worth. So all the information that you need to actually do your own money review is right there on the KiddieNomics YouTube channel. All right, so I want to leave you some homework where do your own money review and let us know what you come up with, right? If you have assets that you can use to calculate a net worth, calculate your net worth. Maybe you set a goal to increase your net worth by the end of this year, right? So go and do your own money review. You may not be able to do number 1 because you may be too young to have credit just yet. So you could skip number 1, but do number 2, 3, and 4. All right. And so that's your homework. And I want to hear how you did with your own money review. And next year, this time, everybody should have their money review game down pat. All right.
Perfect. That was awesome. Thank you, Miss April. Let's ask the kids in the chat. Do we have any more questions for Miss April? I liked one of the goals. Was it Natalie or Nicole mentioned that they're going to go open up an account? So maybe they're going to go open up their first savings account, which is awesome. Oh. Good for you. Good for you.
I love it.
Right? That will help you with your saving goal. So that's awesome. Is there any other questions before we do our wrap up for Miss April? Are there any questions? Any questions? Akira, let's focus on Miss April, okay? Any other questions? Nope. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up, everybody. So hang on for another 2 minutes and I'll wrap up. Thank you again, Miss April. If you stay on for another couple of minutes so we can wrap up, that would be awesome. If your hand is raised, I do see a couple of hands raised. If your hand is raised, please ask your question in the chat box, okay? And I will circle back and get to it. Okay, so let me I'll have the chat box open so I can do that. All right. Okay, so last question that we ask in every KiddieNomics webinar is, what would happen if kids became more financially literate? And our answer is
real change that impacts the world.
Real change that impacts the world. And why do we say this for every webinar? Because we truly believe it. Like, when you guys grow up and you guys are going to go out into the world and do amazing things, financial literacy is not going to be something that's going to hold you back, because you guys are going to know all of these things from a young age to be able to apply it and start off on such a good financial footing. It's going to be awesome. It is going to be so amazing. So that's what we're looking for. And then, of course, we call you guys our young financial literacy ambassadors. What is an ambassador? An ambassador is a person that is an authorized messenger or representative. You all represent KiddieNomics out there, and I love the notes when I get from parents or kids or people stop me on the street and they're like, oh my gosh, my child has learned so much on KiddieNomics. Or I hear, you're teaching your friends and your family about credit and what's a mortgage, and you want to buy a property, and what are stocks. That's so amazing. And that means you're an ambassador. Like, you're teaching other people and you represent KiddieNomics in your community. So thank you so much. Because we believe here on KiddieNomics that knowledge is our
superpower,
right? And it really is true. The more that you're learning here on KiddieNomics, the stronger that you become. So go ahead, go out there and share it, okay? All right, I'm going to give you the schedule for the rest of February. Next week, we have Miss Andrea coming back to KiddieNomics, and we're going to teach you how to scale in real estate. So we talk a lot about real estate in KiddieNomics because we want to start understanding how important it is that real estate helps to build your financial wealth, right? And what do they say? 90% of the world's millionaires have real estate and have earned their money through real estate. So we always circle back to real estate on KiddieNomics. So this one is going to be really fun with Miss Andrea next week. And then the last week of February, we're going to have Miss Ingrid, and we're going to talk about chess. And I know you're like, how is that financial literacy? But it is. It's talking about strategy. So we're going to talk about that. Now, I'm missing 1 week, which is February 18th. The reason why I don't have anything posted as of yet, I'll let you guys know next week, because that is family weekend here in Canada or in Ontario.
We're going.
And I just want to make sure that we don't have any other plans. So we may have a session that week. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So if we don't, I'll let you know next week, and then we'll be back on February 25th, and that will round out the month of February. All right. Oh, you love chess. Oh, that's awesome, Timmy. You're going to love this one. Who has a chessboard? You're a chess champion? That's awesome, Timmy. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I want to learn how to play. I have a board, but I don't know how to play.
Yeah,
I know how to play checkers.
Then you should join this one. I think chess is such a valuable skill to have, and I've always wanted our kids to learn how to play chess.
I know how to play checkers.
Yes, I know, but you need to learn how to play. Chess and checkers are two different games.
I know.
So we're gonna learn all about chess. Joshua, don't worry about it. You're fine. And let me just see what else is on here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close down the chat box. You guys are, they call you the chess master. That's awesome. Okay, so the week of chess is going to be very, very good.
Very busy.
There seems to be a lot of interest in chess, which is awesome. I'm going to tell Miss Ingrid. To let her know that we already have a lot of kids that are interested in chess. All right, so I always want to hear from you. Please, you guys send me emails. You guys, will message me. I always want to hear from you, because we have KiddieNomics almost every single week, every Friday, and there's a lot of topics that we can cover. And so I want to know if there's a topic that I haven't covered or you would like to see me cover. Please just send me a message and let me know what that is, and I will find us an expert to come on KiddieNomics to teach us, okay? But of course, please don't ever reach out without asking your parents first on anything, right? So please make sure you ask your parents before you reach out. And you can always contact me at kiddienomics101@gmail.com. And please, if you find the information valuable and you like all the things that you have been learning here on KiddieNomics, please like and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And yes, we do have TikTok. I have like one video posted there. I'm not a TikToker yet, but we'll get there. I've been saying this for over a year. So I'm going to get there.
We need a KiddieNomics TikTok on TikTok.
Yeah, we do. But I think maybe some of the kids could probably help me out. Like, you guys could probably do some dances and some videos, and then you know, and then have me,
Well,
yes,
I wish I
renegade
could.
dance. Yeah. I know everybody, you guys have always been telling me to do the renegade dance. That one's hard. But okay, we'll get to TikTok in 2022. I'm gonna get to TikTok. But anyways, everybody have a fantastic week. Thank you for joining back this week. We had super fun with Miss April. She taught us so much, right? Like this is a great session. You guys are so awesome. Look at all the questions that were asked. So have a fantastic week. Thank you, Miss April, and bye.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good week. Bye-bye.